Hello history optional students, I welcome you all to DIADEMY IAS. In today's session, I would like to explain you the importance of Upinder Singh. Here, this is the book. Upinder Singh book is very crucial for our ancient India. In paper 1, in the first question itself, we have map marking. Many sites in the examination will directly come from this book, because in our history optional, map is very crucial component. If we handle it very properly, we will get very high scores. That is why we should not compromise in preparation of map. For that, this book will help us a lot. And I will show you various the chapters that are given in the book also, and how we have to use also I will show by showing the PDF. My name is Soma Shekhar. I have given 2 times interview with the history optional. I'll take history optional completely in DIADEMY IAS. Let us see what is the importance of this book. I would like to show you the PDF of this book. Let us see. This is the index. You can observe this. In our UPSC syllabus in history optional, the first chapter or the first unit in the history syllabus is sources. Then after that, the syllabus goes like the prehistoric period, then Indus Valley civilization, megalithic, Indus Valley, Vedic period, and so on. You can observe the index of Upinder Singh. Introduction, ideas of the early Indian past, understanding literary and archaeological sources. You identify this one. In UPSC syllabus also, first unit is about syllabus, sources. Here also, understanding literary and archaeological sources. If you read this particular chapter, then in syllabus, the first unit of the syllabus will get completed. Next, hunter-gatherer, Paleolithic and Mesolithic ages, transition to food production, Neolithic, Chalcolithic. And this is the next unit in our syllabus. Advantage of this book is, it has dealt very detailed. When it comes to first question itself, map marking. Mostly like 40 to 50% of the questions will come from prehistoric sites only. If you include Stone Age and Indus Valley civilization, 8 to 9 questions will come from those chapters only. And these sites can be easily handled if you read the 2 chapters and the 4th one, the Harappan civilization. So up to you can see cultural transition, images from text and archaeology. Up to 5 chapters, if you read it, almost 100 to 120 marks are covered just within these 5 chapters, because map marking is there, and after that some questions will come. They are going to come from this area. That is why minimum 100 marks we will get from the first 5 chapters itself. This shows how important this particular book is. Because this book is, it appears, for the beginner it appears that so many details are there, very difficult to read, very difficult to comprehend. The people are the students who first read NCERT, R.S. Sharma old NCERT is there. After reading it, just go through this book. Do not compromise in reading this book. This shows very in-depth understanding, and also the moment we read this book, the moment we read these chapters, we get to know about our prehistoric age in detail. You will never get doubts throughout your preparation. And remaining things from 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, it's like from Mahajanapada time period onwards till Gupta time period. In these chapters, selective reading you can do, but first 5 chapters, we should not compromise. At least read the first 5 chapters end to end. Even in these chapters also, so many details will come. Even if you skip some details also, no problem. But do not compromise in a first 5 chapters. I will show how the chapter 1 looks. Let us go to this. The advantage of this book is it starts, every chapter will start with some kind of story, and it will set the narration in the right perspective. Here it is talking about the sources, and it explains about Kalhana Rajatarangani in 1148. Because Kalhana is considered as the first Indian historian in true sense, in the modern sense. And the importance of Kalhana, there is a question with respect to Kalhana himself. Evaluate the importance of Kalhana as a historian or the significance of Rajatarangani for understanding Indian history. This content we can use directly in the examination. Next, if we go to, it will explain like this, then reading ancient text from a historical perspective. How we have to use the ancient text, like Vedas are considered as the first literary evidence we have in India. Then we have epics, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Puranas, so many ancient literature is there. This literature, even though it is appears to be religious literature, but the historians can use this religious literature also for understanding our past also. But there is a perspective to understand them. Otherwise, if you read Puranas, there are so many mythical aspects. Historian should consider which is mythical part, which is historical part, and that's where the profession of history will come. This part will explain that how for history these texts can be utilized, even though it contains mythical part. There is a question that how Puranas can be utilized as a source of history. That itself is a question, and you can understand from this part. In this way, every part, how archaeology is important for us, how Puranas are important for us, how ancient texts are important, and with respect to Vedic literature, for example, to understand Vedic society, we are completely depending on the Rig Veda and other Vedas. But there are certain archaeological evidences also for this time period, 1500 to 600 BC. Nowadays questions are coming, how the literature and archaeology both combinedly will help us in understanding Vedic period. To understand this particular question, if we read this particular chapter, we will understand it. So in this way, the sources chapter is clearly mentioned and clearly dealt by this book. If you read the first chapter, our first unit in the syllabus itself, sources, that is taken care. And it will give very detailed manner how our sources develop, how literature develop, how we have to use, and to what extent we need to use it. So these are the various details that will help us. This is the first chapter. Now, next, let us go to Paleolithic, next chapter. This chapter is particularly important for the map perspective. Let us see. Upinder Singh has given so many maps within this chapter. Now let us see. This is about Stone Age, Paleolithic and Mesolithic ages. Let us go to some places where maps are given. This is in the beginning point how the human evolution happened. To understand history, human history, we need to know some information about how biologically human species evolved. This part will explain that. This is biologically how from the beginning of universe, broadly, not very detailed way, broadly, how the invertebrates, vertebrates, then apes, primates, then mammals, human beings emerged. Next, it will explain about how the evidence from different places in the prehistoric time period. Now, if we go to next level, you can observe this. In the first question itself, map is there. In the map, the sites which are mentioned here directly will come in the examination. You can see Hathnora. It is in the Madhya Pradesh, Narmada River, on Narmada River. Next, there is a place Vodai in Tamil Nadu. These are the places where hominid fossils emerged. This evidence is lakhs of years ago itself, people were living in this land. and this is the evidence to show some of the places. Hathnora particularly, it is very important, where hominid skull was discovered. And here it will explain about the archaeologist who contributed for this also. We can remember the person name and we can write in the examination. Next, let us go to next map. Here you can see this one, Stone Age. Broadly, Stone Age is divided into Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic. This table will give clearly how the three different phases are clearly distinguished. When it comes to age-wise, this is how. When it comes to the tools, what kind of tools in Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic they used. And what is the main subsistence base? Hunting, gathering, then fishing, then food production, agriculture. This table will give clearly how various phases, how human evolution is happening. Next, it shows how different tools also used by the human beings, and for example, these tools for which purpose, different tools. Now next one, here map is given. This map will help us very clearly that in which places the Paleolithic settlements were there. Now you can see so many places here, and these are the places directly it will come in the examination. You can see here, if you go from downward, Palghat, Attirampakam, Chittor, Karnool, then Hunsgi, then Nashik, Chalisgaon. You can see so many places, Bhimbetka, Rohri Hills, then Potwar Plateau, Sangavo Cave. These are all the questions that are already asked in the examination, and still you can find so many other places also. In the northeastern place, in the northwest, in deep south, in the middle, in various places. These are the places where the prehistoric, the Paleolithic people were living. They did not leave any literature. We cannot read anything about them because they themselves don't know how to write or how to read. We don't know exactly. But the stone tools which they left is giving the idea about in which areas these ancient people were living. That's why the first question will help us. Here, this particular map will directly help us in the handling first question. In this way, maps are given. This is Paleolithic. Similarly, if you go through the next pages, Mesolithic maps are also given. Then it will clearly explain how human beings are moving from hunting, gathering stage to the settled life. Ultimately, the moment agriculture comes in our Indian history, from that particular time period onwards, the entire culture of humanity has changed. Once the people started settling in one place, then social institutions will emerge. Family will emerge, then small scale society will emerge, then social hierarchies will emerge, then agriculture, transactions will emerge, trading activities will emerge, artisan activities will emerge. That is how the foundation of civilization started. And after few thousands of years, the village gradually will enter into, gradually people will know how to make bricks also. Initially sun-dried, then later burnt bricks. The moment burnt brick comes, they can construct big buildings. Then big building means big cities will emerge. That is how the Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic settlements gradually laid the foundation for Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization is not a sudden one. Before Indus Valley civilization, Neolithic, Chalcolithic traditions laid strong foundation for thousands of years. If you see, Mehergarh is a place in Neolithic that was the first village in Indian subcontinent. After 7,000 years onwards, gradually the settlements increased here in this part near Indus region. By 2500, big cities like Harappan, Mohenjo-daro emerged. This chapter and the next chapter will clearly explain that how human society is moving from one stage to the other stage. This book clearly mentions with evidence that in which place, what type of evidence came, what type of tools we got, what type of the religious evidence we got, like mother goddess, terracotta images, burial practices. In burial grounds, different type of objects they buried along with the dead body. They all show how human mind was evolving from one stage. In the initial phase, hunting and gathering, but over a period of time, humans are evolving into philosophical species. So this is how this book clearly explains very neatly with maps. One is for better understanding, it will help us. Second one, the first question map, it will help us. Next 2-3 questions onwards, we have questions also like Neolithic revolution, the content will help us. Then Indus Valley civilization, content will help us. So in this way, this book is properly organized. Definitely we need to read this book, at least 5 chapters we should not miss. Suppose let us go to Harappa. If we go to Harappa, it will explain. Next, it will set the stage. In the first paragraph of every chapter, you will identify with some kind of narration, in which context that became very crucial in our history. In this context, in Indus Valley civilization, the beginning of the discovery goes back to 1820s itself, Charles Mason. So this is how it explains. But discovery could not take place in 1820s itself, almost has taken 100 years. In 1920s, the Harappa, Mohenjo-daro and other sites excavated properly. And it will give the people who are behind the excavation, various images will come, like John Marshall here, then different aspects about urbanization, Indian archaeologist also, R.D. Banerjee, Dayaram Sahani, different people are given. Now it will explain gradually. Now you can see through maps. The advantage of this book is it will explain through maps very clearly. You can see here various settlements are there. Now gradually these settlements became very, very crucial in the establishment of Indus Valley civilization. You can observe this. In the first question, map marking, directly question will come from here. You can see here Malwan, Bagatrao, Mehran, Padri, Rojdi, then Lodal, Surkotada, Kodiji, many places, Rakigadi, Bhirana, Mitatal, then Alamgirpur, various places. So these are the major Harappan sites. Book explains very clearly in which places the mature Harappan sites are there. Now this explains how in the first place this kind of cities emerged. It explains clearly that in the previous tradition, Chalcolithic, then before that Neolithic, gradually they are called early Harappan settlements, and from early Harappan stage 2, they entered into the mature phase. And the book explains very clearly what are the various characteristics of the mature Harappan phase, and later various aspects in town planning, what evidence we got, religious aspect, what evidence we got, artisan activities, what evidence, trading activities also. If you see the trading aspect, it will clearly explain sorry, it will explain with the trading networks also, how different people contributed. It will explain, it will show how the constructions, Dolavera reservoirs, burnt bricks, how it will help, drainage system very clearly, then subsistence base. It will give images also, what kind of the plow was used and in which place we got the evidence of agriculture. Then various pottery styles, you can clearly see how the pottery of Indus Valley people and what we can learn from that, different terracotta images, artisan, these are all artisan activities, different seals and bronze dancing girl. The bronze metallurgy works are also very much progressive, and now various jewelry, bead industry, you can see various ornaments. So various industrial activities, because today India is struggling very hard to enter into a strong manufacturing country. In 2500 and 2000 BC, the manufacturing sector of these people were very much extensive. Now this is how trading networks. You can see book explains very clearly how the trading networks were going on from one place to the other place within India and outside India also. And what are the various raw materials they imported from various outsiders also. Like they get gold from some place, silver from some place, copper from some other place, different raw materials from different places. Book explains very clearly with the map marking. Now you can see how this one with various networks outside also. The contemporary civilization of Indus Valley is Mesopotamian civilization. This Mesopotamian civilization and Indus Valley civilization were having extensive trade networks, continuous interaction between these two civilizations. Book explains very clearly. The moment you read this book, you will have like a picture in front of you, like a movie in front of you, how the society is progressing, how Indian history is moving from basic primitive hunting gathering stage to the most advanced stage in Indus Valley civilization. So this is how the next chapter will explain about it. The next chapter it talks about Vedic civilization. Again it gives various theories about various theories behind the emergence of advent of Aryans. Is it migration? Is it invasion? In case of Indus Valley civilization also, it will explain how the decline of Indus Valley civilization happened. After the decline, what happened to the ideas? They were percolated to the new settlements. Then it talks about after 2000 BC, how in different regions, like in some places megalithic, in some places chalcolithic, in some places still Neolithic phase settlements were going on. It clearly explained in the next subsequent chapter that from 2000 BC onwards, how different societies emerged. You read first 5 chapters clearly. If you read first 5 chapters, this book will definitely give us at least 100 marks in the question paper, in the form of map also, in the form of questions also, and most importantly, you will never be afraid of ancient India, because ancient India part is not clear because in the first initial pages only. It's very easy to understand from Mahajanapada time period onwards, because from Mahajanapada time period onwards we get kings and kingdoms, then how it is the administration, everything. It is like a very normal one, and most of the students can understand if you read it. But before Mahajanapada time period, our history is not having a clear detailed literary sources, and whatever literary source we have, that source is mixed with so many mythological aspects. That is why what is the true history, what is mythical part, and most importantly, what are the cultures which does not give any kind of literature. Indus Valley did not give any kind of literature for us, but still so much progress happened during that time period. How to understand it? Before Indus Valley civilization, people were there for lakhs of years on this land. How to understand them? We don't have any literature. Only archaeology will help us. That is why the first 5 chapters are going to be very, very foundational for our history optional. Our India, it's like this is our identity of Indian history. No other book explain very detailed manner the way Upinder Singh book has explained. That is why we need to definitely read this book. The students who cannot read entire book also, no matter, but first 5 chapters please read very carefully. And I have given various maps also, and how they will be using in the examination. So this book is very, very crucial. In terms of marks also, we will get marks. In terms of understanding subject also, it will give us in-depth understanding. So this is how the importance of Upinder Singh. So please read this book, very, very important for our history optional. And in my classes for ancient India, I am going to use this book as the reference, and I will cover many aspects from this book. If you join the foundation course, I will explain in detail that how our society is moving from ancient India, from hunting gatherings to the most advanced civilization. So this is how the approach is going to be like this. any student, whoever is preparing for history optional, here we need to understand the syllabus first. It is very, very crucial, because without understanding syllabus, we will not know to which direction we have to move on. Then NCERTs, if you read NCERTs in the first level, then you can go to the standard level, next level. Then chronology and interlinking. It is very, very crucial. If we understand what is going on in different geographic location. For example, Indus Valley civilization means it is only particularly related to northwestern part of India. But at the same time, we need to know what is happening in northeast also, Deccan also, and south also. Then if we have that idea also, then any kind of question, let any kind of question come in the examination, you are ready to answer and you will be able to give the best answer. Next one, the map based practice is very much crucial. Answer writing, once you read the books, understanding the subject, you need to know how to write the answers. That practice is very much crucial. The students who join my foundation course, I will give everyday question, everyday practice. In the weekend, I conduct mini test also, and after 2 weeks or 3 weeks once, one full length test also will be conducted. In that way, different aspects will be covered in the classroom, and also students will practice it at each and every point. Next, previous year question papers. I have prepared previous year questions model answers also. You will get if you join the foundation course. Then various mark. Now I will give some information about current affairs also. We need to know, even though much questions will not come from current affairs, but for our safety purpose, we will have some idea about current developments as well. Then if you are interested, you can go through some documentaries like how Indian civilization, Indus Valley civilization, because if you see in the form of video or images, you will retain for very long time period. So this is how, if you approach the history optional in this way, you give 5 months, 4 to 5 months time dedicatedly, then history optional will be done. Even though the syllabus given in UPSC appears to be big one, but it's not a big one, it is a very detailed one. It's not just simply mention detailed sub-details of each and every chapter. If I remove the details, our syllabus is going to be just like 25 lines or 30 lines entire syllabus. But just making 25-30 lines doesn't make any syllabus very small. So UPSC made student life easier by giving very detailed way. Just we need to read each and everything, then our syllabus is finished. This is how we need to approach. Please contact to this number. Regularly, the foundation courses are being started. Myself, once again, I am Soma Shekhar. I have given 2 times interview with history optional. I will help you how to crack UPSC with history optional. Thank you very much.